Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Unity Spiritual Community in Citrus Heights. It's a beautiful day here in Central California, and we're going to open our service by sharing our vision statement and our mission statement. So if you would like to recite this with me, feel free to go ahead. Our vision statement is light-filled, heart-centered, spirit-led. Unity Spiritual Community prepares the way for the awakened human. And our mission statement, we are a visionary community offering sanctuary, celebration, enlightenment, and inclusivity for all who seek spiritual awareness. And so we take a moment now knowing that our voice, our speaking those words, have set into motion the energy of those words into the universe. And we allow ourselves to vibrate with them and to absorb them and to reflect them back for the good of all humankind. And so it is. Amen. And so we'll move on to sharing our daily word at this time. Today is Sunday, June 13th, 2021. And the words for today are world peace. Peace shared between people spreads throughout the world. Peace shared between people spreads throughout the world. I contribute to world peace when I join in spirit with all people who dedicate themselves to expressing divine love, united in the belief that God is within everyone. I affirm the divinity of humankind and honor each person as a unique expression of God. I recognize and release any unkind thoughts or feelings toward any person or group of people. I respect all others and seek to learn more about customs and beliefs that are unfamiliar to me as I grow in a spirit of kinship. I believe a warm, friendly attitude communicates my intentions as effectively as my words. I smile easily and extend myself to others in a spirit of friendship. I remain mindful that as peace flowers between individuals, peace grows in the world. And from Micah 4:3 we read, "Nation shall not lift sword up against nation, neither shall they learn war anymore." And the words for today are world peace. I invite you to consider how you can apply this in your own life, and even in the smallest little disturbance you may have with your next door neighbor. Speaking for myself in this case, one can change the way one looks and acts in these situations. So the word is peace. Thank you.
I see happiness, I see freedom, I see the beauty in the lives in me. was good. I caught the little symbol there. All right.
Thank you, Lisa. Namaste. Namaste. Our Sunday featurette today is on the medicine wheel. I first learned about medicine wheels by attending the full moon pipe ceremonies at the Spiral Circle bookstore in Orlando. I have probably attended or led between 60 and 70 medicine wheels over the years. There are differences in construction and symbols among the various native traditions and amongst the New Agers who also like to build them. And there's a vast difference in the materials that are used. Sometimes they can be stones or crystals. I've seen them made with seashells or candles. I don't know that it makes any difference. I have, since I've started leading medicine wheels, relied on this book, which is Dancing with the Wheel by Sun Bear. It has charts and graphs that make it an easy reference guide for when I need to teach what's going on. Sun Bear was from the Ojibwe tribe, and I cannot vouch for the authenticity of the information in this book, but I've always referred to my medicine wheels as honoring the native traditions, or after the fashion of the native traditions, rather than representing them in any particular original design. This is a basic medicine wheel, and like so many of the earth-based spiritual movements, it is constructed to be oriented to the 4 cardinal directions. And the wheel that we're going to have for our summer solstice will be so oriented. You should see me out there in my backyard with a compass, trying to figure out how to set it up. The wheel represents the cycle of the year. It is customary to open the medicine wheel by calling in the animal spirits for each of the 4 directions. And these animals may vary from tradition to tradition. But according to Sun Bear, they are in the north represented by the white buffalo named Waboose, who represents winter. I memorized these 4 names. If nothing else, I wanted to be able to open a wheel and sound like I knew what I was doing. Then the east is represented by the golden eagle named Wabun. The east represents spring, as the north represents winter. And then we move around to the south, and the animal totem, or the spirit keeper for the south, is named Shanodisi, which is the coyote. And this one's my favorite. And of course, it represents summer. And then we move around to the west, and our spirit keeper of the west is a grizzly bear named Mudgekiewicz, and represents autumn. Now, the order that these 4 are called in depends on the season. The south is represented with summer. So for our summer solstice, we will begin with Shanodisi the coyote and then move in a clockwise direction around the other ones. This is a medicine wheel from Sun Bear's book that includes the 12 moons. Most medicine wheels look like a pie that's been sliced into 12, and sometimes they'll add a 13th moon. 12 divisions representing the months or the moons, and more likely it won't be exactly the months. They'll align with maybe the dates of the signs of the zodiac. So the summer solstice, down here at the bottom, marks the beginning of summer and of the sign that we call Cancer. Because Cancer begins on the 20th or the 21st of June. Well, the name of this moon in this tradition is the strong sun moon. When you come next Sunday evening, we invite you to bring any special rocks or crystals or pieces of jewelry or trinkets to place in the section of your birth moon and for the birth moons of your loved ones. Each direction, each moon, each clan is associated with a multitude of symbols. Moons are symbolized by specific clans, by animal totems, by minerals and flowers and colors and more. And our strong sun moon, the one that will begin with the solstice, is represented by the flicker, which is a bird, the wild rose, the color is pink, the mineral is carnelian, and the clan is the frog clan. One of the biggest challenges in presenting medicine wheels to newcomers is knowing how to avoid overloading the participants with too many details. I don't think anyone wants to hear all that information about all 12 moons. It will not sink in. It will be overwhelming. And it is a delicate balance to explain enough, but not too much. This is a huge medicine wheel at the Medicine Mountain National Historic Landmark in Wyoming. These little figures right here, those are people. That'll just give you an idea about how big this medicine wheel is. And this is another one that I thought was interesting, made with chunky rocks. And yet another style, which is made with big, beautiful crystals. The most beautiful wheels I've seen were at a monthly new moon women's group, and they used crystals and candles. And when the wheel was constructed, they would turn off the lights, and we'd do our sharing and meditating by the light of the candles and the reflections on the crystals there. You help construct a medicine wheel, and when you do so, it is constructed in a clockwise direction. So everyone walks around it in a clockwise direction. It's a way of directing the flow of energy. And at the end of the event, it is dismantled in a counterclockwise direction, which like unwinds the energy. When you are sitting around a wheel, you are on the edge of an energy vortex. That vortex is created by walking around the wheel so many times in a clockwise direction as you place the various stones and with your intent. Many other spiritual traditions also create energetic vortexes. This is a gypsy dancer, and it is said that as the gypsy woman would twirl with her skirt, that she was entrancing the audience into a vortex of energy. And that's why they were so engaging and so beautiful. And this is a whirling dervish in the Sufi tradition. I have seen these in person, and when they spin, which to them they are spinning, I believe that is in the counterclockwise direction. They only spin in one direction, and they are creating an energy vortex, and it causes the dancer to go into a deep meditative trance. Another thing that happens in some groups in the earth-based spirituality is that people will use a wand to cast a circle around the participants before beginning celebration. We used to have a woman at church that would lead these little celebrations like for Yule or Beltane or Samhain, and she had a quartz wand, and before we would begin she would circle it around, and she called in the four directions too, and cast a circle. Last week we talked about the Paralandra garden, and I don't know if there's any relationship between the fact that it's a circular garden and a medicine wheel or the energy work that we are discussing. But we did cover that the people at Paralandra use a four-point coning when they are co-creating with nature. And this is just a representation of it. So they open connection with a minimum of 4 nature intelligences. And while they are in the energy of the coning, think about the word cone. Think about how much a cone is like a vortex. We're always back to the same kind of energy work. And while they are in the energy of the coning, they ask the questions about how to create their garden, or to request a healing, or to ask for a solution for a particular problem that they're having. When you participate in this kind of energy work, whether it's creating a medicine wheel or casting a circle or opening a coning, you may not notice the shift in energy during the actual event because it comes on gradually. It can be created gradually. And if you are aware of it, it usually feels like a small, safe, comfortable bubble of light that engulfs you and the others that are participating. The time that I am aware of this energy is when it's over. When the wheel is dismantled, or the circle is closed, or the coning is disconnected. And at these times, it feels like the air has been let out of a balloon. It's a feeling of being deflated. And I'll look around and I'll notice the larger world that has been there the whole while outside of our bubble of light, surrounding our intimate little energetic island. And for a moment I'll feel disoriented. It's like everything became bigger. Participating in this is an exercise in becoming familiar with your inner senses and recognizing the shifts and trusting the awareness that you experience. Today was part 2 of a 3-part Sunday featurette series that provides a background for our summer solstice gathering, which is next Sunday. Next Sunday morning during our service, our featurette will discuss the astronomy of the solstice. Just what does it mean? Why is that the longest day of the year? And thus ends today's featurette. And thank you. Thank you for listening.
Peace in my life is growing because I choose love. Love's always present, it's what we're made of. I choose love. We are a part of each other. We are one. is growing because I choose love. Let love be present, it's what we're made of. I choose love. We are all part of each other. We are one. One choice unites us. Let this be the one. I choose love. I choose love. I choose love. And at this time, we draw into our consciousness our prayer requests so that we may bless them. What concerns do you have this morning? What have you been dealing with this week? What is in your heart for yourself and for those around you, for your family and your friends, your loved ones, your neighbors, and the world? So much is happening right now. So much. It's so wonderful, and it's also overwhelming at the same time. So we just draw all of those concerns into this holy, holy space that we have here, this space of sanctuary. And we bless those concerns. We bless all of them, sending out our energy into the world and into ourselves in this divine community, infusing our community and our world with the energy of love, of peace, and of order. And so it is. And we release these concerns today. Amen. And let us now prepare for a time of meditation. Oh, Spirit, guide me deep inside me. Take me to my heart place, the place of ease and grace. Breathe in this moment, this sacred moment. I am peace. I am
Let us relax more deeply as we share a time of meditation. Take a long, slow breath and release it as a sigh. Take another deep breath and then sigh out any tension or worry that you may have. We were created to be happy. We were created to succeed. Our success is measured in the ways of God, not in the ways of the world. Breathe again. And this time, relax heavily into your seat. Let the chair support you. Let the world support you. Know that you are an integral part of life, an indispensable part of God's plan of good. You were conceived when God dreamed this world into being. When God set into place the atoms and molecules that eventually combined to form the unique expression of spirit that you are. Allow your mind to expand beyond your room. Become aware of the trees outside, the breeze, the blossoms of spring. Feel the rightness of life itself. Feel the rightness of your place in life and of each part of the journey that led you to this spring day. Every breath you breathe has been breathed before, 1,000 times, 1,000,000 times, 1,000,000,000,000 times. We each arise from the pool of undifferentiated consciousness, springing forth into this earth plane, spinning stars and dreams into our life experiences, adding our own unique flavor to the soup of life. We surrender. We surrender to life in all its fecund glory, the sweet and the bitter, the times of victory and times of defeat. It is all good. It is all God. And so we just let it go. We release struggle and judgment, and we share a few moments in the silence. Returning once again to this now moment, we embrace a sense of joy and wonder for our journey through time and space. We remain open to a greater awareness of the miraculous. We allow ourselves to be supported by love, now and forevermore. Amen.
This is the sound of one heart starting to hear. This is the sound of faith stepping out of fear. The journey of one soul, passage through time. And this is one lone dreamer learning to fly. This is the sound of love reaching out from the storm. small part, here is my gift to you. And your love is shining in everything I do. And I hear you calling for me, for our roads lead to your love is shining in everything I do. And I hear you calling for me, for our roads lead to you. So count the hilltops, count the towns, as we're crossing over. See no, hear no, speak no sound on this golden flight.
Lisa, thank you. That was just glorious. Beautiful song. A new one for us? Okay. Our lesson today is about Joseph. We are continuing our series on the divine masculine. Next week we'll discuss David, and we will end the month with a talk on Jacob. Joseph is known for his coat of many colors. That is what his coat was called in the King James Version of the Bible. In the NRSV version, which stands for the New Revised Standard Version, it is called a long-sleeved tunic, which is better than a sleeveless tunic. Now, a coat is something we cover ourselves with. It could represent our beliefs or our understanding. It could also represent that which surrounds us, our life circumstances. As we share the life of Joseph today, we'll learn that he went through many changes, many ups and downs, as is true in each of our lives. We eventually wear many colors. A brief review of the begats. Last week we talked about Abraham and Sarah. They were the beginning of the patriarchs, and Abraham begat Isaac, and Isaac and Rebekah begat Jacob, and Jacob and Rachel begat Joseph. He was the 11th of 12 sons to Jacob. And the 12 sons of Jacob represent, among other things, the 12 divine powers as are taught in unity. They represent the powers in the Old Testament. Joseph represents the power of imagination. This is my favorite power, and he's my favorite patriarch. You may have heard it said that thoughts held in mind produce after their kind. Well, to change those thoughts held in mind, to speak the language of the unconscious, we use images in addition to words. And imagination is the key to visualization. That's where it fits in with our powers. Joseph's coat also symbolizes how the power of imagination adds color to visualization. It was given to him by his father. He was his father's favorite son. Joseph was a mystic and a dreamer, and dreams play key roles in mysticism. Charles Fillmore, the co-founder of Unity, said, "Ask God your questions in meditation and receive the answers in your dreams." So those two fit together that way. Joseph's 10 older brothers were jealous of him, and no wonder. They knew he was his father's favorite. Plus, he had this spiffy coat he got to wear. And Joseph had dreams about his brothers, which added to his jealousy. We share one from Genesis 37. Once Joseph had a dream, and when he told it to his brothers, they hated him even more. He said to them, "Listen to this dream that I dreamed. There we were, binding sheaves in the field. Suddenly, my sheaf rose and stood upright. Then your sheaves gathered round it and bowed down to my sheaf." His brothers said to him, "Are you indeed to reign over us? Are you indeed to have dominion over us?" So they hated him even more because of his dreams and his words. He had another dream and told it to his brothers, saying, "Look, I had another dream. The sun, the moon, and 11 stars," notice he had 11 brothers, "were bowing down to me." But when he told it to his father and his brothers, his father rebuked him and said to him, "What kind of dream is this that you have had? Shall we indeed come, I, your mother, and your brothers, and bow to the ground before you?" Well, you see, Joseph was showing an immature use of the power of imagination, and he alienated his brothers. Still, who among us, even as a child, did not use imagination to fantasize about being the hero in his or her own drama? So Joseph's brothers planned to kill him. They beat him up and throw him in a well and take his coat away from him. They put animal blood on his coat of many colors and show it to his father and tell Jacob that Joseph is dead. But instead of killing him, they sell him into slavery, and he ends up in Egypt. This is how the Israelites got to Egypt, by the way, because 400 years later, Moses had to rescue them from Egypt. That's the whole book of Exodus. So this is a big connection in the Old Testament. This is how they ended up in Egypt and eventually became slaves there. So, metaphysically, Egypt represents the subconscious. It represents materiality and sensuality. Egypt is not a good place metaphysically. It's sense consciousness. It's unenlightened. It's believing the ways of the world instead of the ways of God. The time that Joseph spent in Egypt gave him the opportunity to mature his powers even in a repressed atmosphere. His brothers meant this for evil, but God meant it for good. Egypt was the place of Joseph's life work. This was his destiny. There is rich symbolism involved in Joseph being abandoned by his brothers and ending up successful. If you'll remember the times we've talked about the hero's journey, the hero is always an orphan. Whether the parents are living or dead, the hero is in practicality an orphan through abandonment, if through nothing else. So Joseph ends up as an overseer, which was a powerful position in the home of Potiphar, who was an officer of the Pharaoh. Then, as luck would have it, Potiphar's wife attempts to seduce him. He resisted, but she said that he was the one that tried to seduce her, and he ended up in jail. Well, once again, he rose in rank, and he became a trustee when he was in prison. And while he was in jail, his dreams once again created a life change for him. He was in with the Pharaoh's cupbearer and the Pharaoh's baker, who were also prisoners and who were going to go on trial for the crimes they had been accused of. And they came to him to interpret their dreams. Well, Joseph precedes his interpretation by saying that only God interprets dreams. But then he correctly interpreted them, saying, the baker will be executed, but the cupbearer will be freed. And that came to pass. So the cupbearer returned to the Pharaoh's household and shares the story of Jacob's talents with the Pharaoh. And the Pharaoh calls Joseph to him because he's been having some troublesome dreams. And he asks Joseph to interpret them. From Genesis 41, we read that the Pharaoh's dream, in my dream, I was standing on the banks of the Nile, and 7 cows, fat and sleek, came up out of the Nile and fed on the reed grass. Then 7 other cows came up after them, poor, very ugly and thin. The thin and ugly cows ate up the first 7 fat cows. I fell asleep a second time and saw in my dream 7 ears of grain, full and good, growing on one stalk, and 7 ears withered, thin, and blighted by the east wind, sprouting up after them, and the thin ears swallowed up the 7 good ears. Joseph, giving credit to God, interpreted the dreams to mean that Egypt would experience 7 years of plenty, followed by 7 years of famine. The Pharaoh, very impressed, made Joseph in charge of storing grain over the 7 good years so that they would have enough to feed the people during the famine. Eventually, Joseph's family came to Egypt because of the famine, and they heard that there was grain in Egypt. And this fulfilled the prophecy of his early dreams. His family came to him for help. They depended on him. And when his brothers eventually recognized him, they begged for his forgiveness. And Joseph responded, this is from Genesis 50, which is the last chapter in the book of Genesis. This is the end of the story of the patriarchs. Joseph responded, even though you intended to do harm to me, God intended it for good, to preserve a numerous people as he is today. In each of our own lives, we can experience times of terrible loss, calamity, and betrayal. We can move through those times to become successful and to do good. We can go forward in faith, knowing that the world as God sees it makes sense. It makes sense, and we each follow a divine destiny. We can allow the tight places in life to shape us into better versions of ourselves. And in the final analysis, we can forgive others for any perceived injustice. And last but not least, remember that there is always room for snazzy fashion accessories. And thus ends today's lesson. God bless you.
Imagine there's no heaven. It's easy if you try. No hell below us. Above us only sky. Imagine all the people living for today. Imagine there's no countries. It isn't hard to do. But nothing to kill or die for, or no religion too. Imagine all the people living life in peace. You may say I'm a dreamer, but I'm not the only one. I hope someday you'll join us, and the world will be as one. Imagine no possessions. I wonder if you can. No need to drink for greed or hunger. A brotherhood of men. Imagine all the people sharing all the world. You may say I'm a dreamer, but I'm not the only one. I hope someday you'll join us, and the world will live as one.
Thank you, Lisa. Thank you. It's one of our favorite songs.
And now we move now into our time of blessing the offerings. So once again, thank you all so much for your support. We appreciate your remembering us on a regular basis, whether it is weekly or monthly, as many of you do. It keeps us solid and able to continue our ministry in our community and in the world. You may make your donations by sending a check to our P.O. Box, which is P.O. Box 2176, Citrus Heights, California 95611, or you can find a donate button on our homepage on our website and also in our newsletter, which comes out to our list usually on a weekly basis. So thank you so much, and let us go ahead and bless those offerings together with Unity's prosperity prayer, knowing that divine love flowing through me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I choose to give, and all that I am open to receive. And so it is. Amen.
We have just a few announcements this morning. The Summer Solstice Gathering is next Sunday at 7 p.m. please RSVP on our website and we'll send you directions. It's going to be in my backyard, and it's being offered for a love offering basis. So know that everybody is welcome to attend. We've shared about our Divine Masculine series, and I wanted to read a letter from Silent Unity that we got. We support Silent Unity. This is something about the Unity movement is each church is self-supporting through our own contributions, and then we pass along some money to headquarters in one aspect or another, and we send a check every month to Silent Unity. This thank you letter said, "Dear friends in Unity, when we think of you, it is in a spirit of love. We know that every aspect of your ministry radiates divine love to the people of your community. As we hold you in prayer, we see each of you experiencing the warmth and peace of divine love. We trust your hearts are filled with peace, and that your spiritual quest brings wonderful blessings into your life. Thank you so much for sharing your monetary gift to Silent Unity. By giving in this way, you bless the many people who rely on us to be here whenever they need a praying friend. May you and everyone who comes through your doors experience love, peace, harmony, and fulfillment. We love you, and we look forward to hearing from you soon. In peace and faith, Silent Unity." So we are part of a huge flow of good in this world. We receive and we give. And our last announcement is, of course, that after the service, those who are here on Zoom are invited to stay and chat with us for a while. It's one of my favorite times of the week. Thank you all. Now we're going to ask Lisa to lead us in the peace song.
Weave us together in unity and love. Weave us together, and let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be, with God as creator, family all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyful vow. To take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me.
And now for our prayer of protection, we know that the light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. God bless you all. Have a fabulous week.
We got a good thing going on around here. We got a good thing going on around here. You can see it on each and every face. There's a sweet, sweet spirit in this place. We got a good thing going on. got a good